So there's a lot of rumors flying right now, and this makes a lot of sense from certain perspectives, especially if you're Microsoft. You have to wonder if, they're going to be able to kind of go along with their original plans and things like that. There's also rumors right now that Microsoft is frantically going behind doors and trying to, change plans into doing something that's feasible to work. And listen, I'm of the thought process that that's a good thing. So this isn't a negative video at all. This is actually a very, very good idea. Like, whatever Microsoft was doing before under Phil and Sarah wasn't working, right? And even if that was Satya's idea to put games everywhere, that wasn't working either. Maybe the big master plan was, hey, we're going to release this PC hybrid thing, and people are going to be able to play the PlayStation games defaultly on our platform through Steam anyway. Now Sony has cut that off completely, and so you would just be stuck with buying a $1,200 to $1,500 rumored anyway Xbox PC that has no access to future PlayStation games. And again, Sony's probably going to sell the PlayStation 6 at an affordable price. I know people laugh at me when I say that, but the whole reason why there's rumors to delay the PS6 to 2028 or 2029 is because they want an affordable price, a price that people are known to kind of go out and massively support their product. So I would not be shocked to see a $599 price point for a PS6, at least one of the versions. I think they want a massive adoption, and that's how you do it. According to this, though, the next Xbox console could be affected by PlayStation pulling back on PC. The big news is in the gaming industry from Jason Schreier, who says PlayStation will be pulling back PC ports, which I already did a video on when it comes to internally developed single-player games, saying that single-player titles such as last year's samurai hit Ghost of Yotai and the upcoming action game Saros will remain exclusive to PS5, and that in recent weeks, PlayStation scrapped plans to bring Ghost of Yotai and other internally developed games to PC. Quote, the sources cautioned that things could change in the future due to unpredictable nature of the video game industry, and that Sony's plans are constantly shifting, but in recent weeks, PlayStation scrapped plans to bring Ghost of Yotai and other internally developed games to PC. So, why would this matter to an Xbox perspective? Well, it's been suggested that the next Xbox console will contain support from PC storefronts such as Steam and the Epic Game Store, meaning PlayStation classics like Marvel, Spider-Man, The Last of Us, God of War, and some others would theoretically be playable on an Xbox console if rumors are true. But pulling back on some of these single-player games and making them exclusive to PS5 and or the PS6, Sony could avoid making them playable on rival hardware, such as the next Xbox console and upcoming Steam machine. The report actually mentioned this in its conclusions, quote, some executives at PlayStation may not be thrilled at the prospect of one of the company's flagship games, like God of War, running on the next Xbox. So, again, as highlighted earlier, plans could change, but it doesn't look like they're going to change because Sony has obviously looked at the data and said, hey, this stuff isn't really working out well for us as a company. And I've mentioned this numerous times before in other videos. Over the past 7 years, 1.5 billion revenue has been made from the PlayStation PC ports, but the majority of that came through Helldivers 2, and everything else has kind of fallen off. Initially, there was some, I guess, some games that did well on PC, and then it's died off, and then people go, oh well, because it's not day and date. Spider-Man 2 was within a year and did piss poor on PC, so but it was pirated a lot. So again, what is Microsoft going to do? I think this could maybe send Microsoft back to the drawing board, force Microsoft's hand back into some level of making exclusivity. And Asha Sharma, the new CEO, I do like how the sound. She says apparently is willing to go over some of Xbox past decision. She doesn't say anything about trying to fix them or change them, just that she's going to look into them. Thus, we might not see any change from this, but even the slightest chance that we may see, the Game Pass price hike decrease somewhat or exclusive games come back would be good. It's a strange time at the Xbox right now, and his new CEO is certainly leaving fans concerned, as she has seen through various talk on the internet. And her gamer tag is very kind of not focused or whatever. But again, we'll have to see how that all works out. Is she actually going to kind of do something different? Is she going to do something that gets people excited about the platform? That's going to be something that we're going to have to kind of wonder about, and again, I think we have to look at who's the people that have been saying exclusives are antiquated. Has it been Sony? Has it been Nintendo? Or was it just Microsoft? So you have to look at where you've been hearing that from. Now, there's a lot of upset PC fanboys lately. I've been seeing them in my feed. They're like, well, don't come crawling back to us. And it's like, to me, they're like, I'm not going to buy a PlayStation, and maybe they won't. But I can guarantee that some are going to look at the prospect of buying a PlayStation 5 for GTA 6, Wolverine, Saros, Venom, Galactic, whatever the case may be. Some will do that. Is it going to be millions upon millions? Maybe. It's not going to be 50 million, but it could be, a few million. Maybe those gamers don't want to get spoiled on the GTA 6, spoilers and how that game is and things like that, and they don't want to wait the year or two for it to come to PC. So, I can totally understand that. And, it's not like, let's be real, for like a lot of the PC dudes, if you're affording a PC at this point, then you could definitely afford a $500 PlayStation, or even less if you get one used or trade something in. So yeah, like a lot of people say things on the internet, and then that doesn't necessarily make them true at the end of the day. So like what's Microsoft going to do? I think that's something that I'm super interested to see how they handle that. You obviously have to have some kind of game plan, because I think the game plan initially was, well, yeah, it's true, we don't have any exclusive games, but you're going to be able to play our games through Steam and through these other stores, because we're so forward thinking and we're so amazing and stuff like that, and we're for the players and all this kind of stuff, despite the fact that people buying a Steam version of a PlayStation game, that's Microsoft $0, because it's not the Microsoft store. And so again, I always thought, like, I think it's a lot of little things that kind of play into this, but I really do think that Microsoft needs to rethink their exclusive strategy, and they need to rethink their console strategy. You need to have something out there competing with the PlayStation 6 directly, and it has to be a console. It can't be a PC. So, like, I'm not saying they can't do the hybrid thing. I'm saying maybe do something in addition to that, like do just a regular console. Look, and I've been on the record of saying this. If they come out with just a regular console, right, not running all Windows 11, just a console, and they have some exclusive games, I'll get one. Right? I'll support Xbox into the next generation. If they just release an expensive PC that's running Windows 11 and don't have exclusives, I'm not getting one. Right? Like, people don't understand that. Like, for me anyway, the only way that I can speak is really through my channel, through social media, and through my wallet. So, like, people would be surprised that, so I used to stay on my Xbox almost 24/7. And what I mean by that is, if I wasn't gaming, I was watching Netflix, I was watching Hulu or Disney. Even overnight, I let the Simpsons episodes run overnight while I'm sleeping. It's just some background noise or whatever. But I'm sure Microsoft counts that and likes that I'm on their platform. I've stopped all that. I don't use Xbox for that stuff anymore. I just use the app on my TV. I think I bought maybe 2 games since they announced that whole 4 games coming to PlayStation, and I usually would buy 25 to 30 games new every year on Xbox. Think about that, the amount of money that I would spend, and I would buy new controllers and Game Pass. I'm not even subscribed to Game Pass anymore. So they're losing somebody that would put thousands of hours and thousands of dollars into their platform. That might not seem much to you, right, or them in the grand scheme of things, but if enough people are cutting that stuff out, certainly they would have to listen. And I've been playing a little bit PlayStation 5 Pro a little bit more, and so again, it really kind of comes down to if enough people are paying attention, and apparently, obviously they're going to have to do something that's going to help the future or whatever of the platform. So I look at this as a good thing. This is a good thing. Microsoft can go back to the drawing board with their platform and their ideas, because clearly they were trying to play checkers and Sony decided to play chess and switch it up on them. So I think that's going to be a major kind of talking point going forward, and I do look forward to seeing what both companies can do. Like I said, I'm going to look into what Xbox is doing very much with an open mind. They can do things, they can change things, they can kind of do, surprise me as a fan, and I'm hoping that they do that. I would love to be kind of caught by surprise by Microsoft and see that they do something, you know, amazingly well, and bring back that competition, because I feel like that is what's missing from this generation, is that competition that we used to get. You know, the games competing against themselves and the companies competing against each other for our money. That was good for all of us. Anyway, I'll link this. Let me know what you guys think. Rack 'em up. Crap Gamer out.